Good evening. The Philippine government and National Democratic Front of the Philippines reached a tentative agreement to seek a peaceful resolution to the armed conflict in the country. The Oslo Joint Communique says that the two parties agreed to a principled and peaceful resolution of the armed conflict, recognizing that resolving the roots of the armed struggle will pave the way for the transformation of the CPP-NPA-NDFP. It also reads that the Philippine government and the NDFP will come up with a framework that sets the priorities for the peace negotiation in order to achieve just and lasting peace. However, Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation and Unity Carlito Galvez Jr. says there is no immediate effect as these are only preliminary talks. According to him, all operations pertaining to the NDFP will continue. For their part, NDFP interim chair of the negotiating panel, Julieta de Lima, says that there were still many serious issues but expresses hope that the talks could lead to a comprehensive agreement. The Senate has approved on third and final reading the 5.7 trillion peso national budget for fiscal year 2024. With 21 voting in the affirmative, no negative votes, and 1 abstention, the General Appropriations Act of 2024 was approved by senators on Tuesday, November 28. Following the House of Representatives and Senate approval of the 2024 budget, a bicameral conference committee will collaborate and come up with a reconciled version of the national allocation for next year. Once reconciled, the bill will be returned to both chambers of Congress for ratification. The ratified version will then be transmitted to President Bongbong Marcos for his signature. According to Finance Secretary Benjamin Jokno, Marcos is expected to sign the proposed 2024 national budget before his trip to Japan in December. The president will be in Tokyo for the 50th year of ASEAN-Japan friendship and cooperation.
Malamang. Kasi I was talking to the liaison officer to na-approve na kasi yung budget eh. So they will go into conference committee by December 1st. And so there's enough time bago umalis si Presidente.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you po.
Maricel, did you have a question? Maricel Halili, TV5.
Hi, sir.
Vice President Sara Duterte says no cracks exist between the Marcos-Duterte tandem, otherwise known as the UniTeam. Her remark comes after President Bongbong Marcos recently revealed that the prospect of the Philippines reintegrating as a state party to the International Criminal Court is currently being studied. Marcos' statement fueled speculation that differences may have started to form within the political team-up. The alleged plans within the House of Representatives to impeach the Vice President further fanned speculations. But Duterte stresses that there are no cracks in the political tandem.
Wala naman. Wala namang, ang UniTeam kasi, it was a tandem during the elections, no? Ngayon naman, ang trabaho namin is hindi na pangangampanya. Ang trabaho namin is President and Vice President. With regard to our working relationship, wala akong narinig mula kay Pangulong Marcos sa reklamo niya with regard to sa trabaho namin sa Department of Education. Tuloy-tuloy lang yung trabaho.
Meanwhile, Duterte says she doesn't want to speculate on the motives behind the House resolutions, urging the government to cooperate with the International Criminal Court in its investigation into her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte's war against drugs.
Iwan na lang namin yan sa mga tao, no, na i-analyze. I do not want to speculate sa mga motives ng House of Representatives. Well, magmasid. Yung mga mahilig sa politika, magmasid sila. And hindi pa talaga kasi ngayon ang panahon ng pamumulitika dahil napakalayo pa ng 2025. And syempre, mas malayo pa ang 2028.
Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri says only the President and not the Senate can decide whether or not the Philippines should rejoin the International Criminal Court. This comes after Deputy Minority Leader Senator Risa Ontiveros filed a resolution urging Malacanang to cooperate with the ICC's investigation into the former administration's war against drugs. The Senate chief refuses to further comment on the matter, adding that it would be better to just wait for President Bongbong Marcos' decision on the matter. President Bongbong Marcos last Friday said that the government is studying the possibility of the Philippines resuming its ICC membership. For his part, Senator Bato de la Rosa says he already expected such a move from Ontiveros, adding that he believes the resolution will not gain traction. De la Rosa was the chief implementer of former President Rodrigo Duterte's drug war campaign. Meanwhile, Senator Amy Marcos says there are other problems the country is facing that should be given priority.
Sa palagay ko, sa dinami-dami ng problema ngayon, hindi ito mahalaga. Bakit ito ang ginagawang pinaka-importanteng bagay sa ating bansa ngayon? Lihis sa kailangan ng ating mga taong bayan.
Former Senator Laida de Lima blasts those who are against the country's possible return to the International Criminal Court. In a social media post, de Lima says rejoining the ICC should not be difficult since the Philippines' withdrawal in the first place only serves the interest of only one man who wanted to evade accountability. She further says that those who oppose the Philippines' return to the ICC serve the interest of former President Rodrigo Duterte and others who are responsible for the murder of thousands of our countrymen. She asks why Duterte's, quote, self-serving and shameless act of withdrawal from the ICC should be perpetuated. Duterte is among the subjects of a complaint filed before the ICC over his war on drugs that resulted in thousands of deaths. The State Weather Bureau says 3 provinces in Luzon may experience drought by the end of December due to the effects of El Nino. In its climate forum, Pag-asa says the provinces of Batangas, Cavite, and Oriental Mindoro have potential for drought by the end of the year as the El Nino phenomenon shows signs of further intensification in the coming months. Pag-asa defines drought as 3 consecutive months of way below normal rainfall condition, meaning there is a more than 60% reduction from average rainfall. According to Pag-asa, this outlook is based on observed rainfall from July to November as well as the rainfall forecast for December. El Nino is the unusual warming of the ocean surface in the central and eastern tropical Pacific, which could trigger disruptions in the local weather patterns. Pag-asa says the phenomenon will likely continue until the second quarter of 2024. The House Committee on Legislative Franchises will look into the issues involving the Sunshine Media Network International or SMNI after hosts in a program supposedly aired misleading information against Speaker Martin Romualdez. In a privileged speech during Tuesday's session, Quezon 2nd District Representative David Suarez says he was able to watch an SMNI program where hosts claimed that Romualdez spent 1.8 billion pesos in just a year for his travels. According to Suarez, the committee should use its oversight function over the matter since House Secretary General Reginald Velasco has already disputed these claims. Velasco earlier said that such reports are categorically false and are mere fake news. A few minutes after Suarez's speech, the majority moved to direct the House Committee on Legislative Franchises to start the probe on Thursday, November 30. Deputy Speaker Yasser Alonto Balindong approved the motion as none of the lawmakers present objected. Here's the latest roundup of today's top stories. Philippine government and National Democratic Front of the Philippines reach agreement to seek a peaceful resolution to armed conflict in the country. Vice President Sara Duterte says there are no cracks existing between the Marcos-Duterte tandem. And the Senate approves 5.7 trillion peso 2024 national budget. Finance Secretary Ben Jokno says President Bongbong Marcos may sign national budget by mid-December. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.